panel discussion which is called Diaspora and Politics. We have two amazing people who take senior leadership positions in two of India's largest parties, BJP and Congress. Representing BJP is Dr. Vijay Chauthaiwale, represents BJP and is a key strategist for the party's Foreign Affairs Department. He's played a crucial role in connecting the global Indian diaspora with the party's vision and outreach efforts across various continents. So that's Dr. Vijay. Accompanying Dr. Vijay is Mr. Gurdeep Sappal from the Congress Party, a senior leader and communication strategist known for his sharp political insights and his work bridging the diaspora with India's democratic discourse. He brings both policy depth and on-ground perspective to this conversation. And stitching together a beautiful conversation with both of them is Ms. Marya Shakil, political editor at NDTV, and Ms. Marya Shakil is an award-winning journalist known for her sharp questions, nuanced moderation, and deep understanding of India's political landscape. And together they'll unpack the global dimensions of Indian politics. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a big round of warm welcome.
Hello, everyone. Hi. I see a lot of smiling faces in the audience. So we'll talk about politics, something that I do on a daily basis, but then you have senior leaders of two political parties on my right and left. So, yes, and Vijay Bhai, you're sitting actually on the right side. You are representing the right, and the left is Gurdeep Sappal ji. Diaspora. There is a very interesting word that was used by the person who introduced this session. He said that the diaspora has disproportionate influence on the narrative. What makes the diaspora have that disproportionate influence is something we'll talk to those who actually are ensuring that they have that kind of influence. Hello, can we have some attention, please? Thank you. It's good to talk when there is great room for participation in this room. So, I have covered the diaspora events for the last 11 years of Prime Minister Modi, from All Phones Arena event in Sydney in 2014-15 to a Helan Modi event in the big stadium in Abu Dhabi. And every time I have met Vijay Bhai, and every time I've covered the Congress Party events, I've met Gurdeep Sappal ji. So let's begin with that question. Why does the diaspora have that disproportionate influence? And is it because of the nature of government, or is the diaspora also changing with the changing government? I'm going to begin with you. Okay.
Hello. So first of all, thanks Avinash for such a great event. I am attending it for the first time, but it's really a unique event, especially when it is being organized outside Delhi. And thanks Marya also for conducting this session. So before going into your core question, let us be very clear that diaspora is not a homogeneous entity. It's different in different countries, and within same country there is a lot of differences and even divisions to an extent within diaspora. For example, in Gulf countries, always it was thought that the diaspora is mostly the blue-collared workers. Yes. But now they are increasingly professionals and business people are settling in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. It is changing the complete composition of diaspora. Similarly, diaspora in Durban is different than diaspora in Johannesburg, for example. Yes. So, I would say that globally now Indian diaspora, because of its nature, especially in the Western world and also in the developed countries, uh, they themselves have created their own niche, and that is helping Indian narrative also. For example, in US, the average income of Indian origin people is twice as that of American average. Uh, and there are so many CEOs in many companies. All that is helping India definitely, because Indians have become more visible in last 15, 20 years. IT has helped more. Even before that in US, the Doctors Organization of Indians, origin doctors in US is the largest medical organization in US. Hotel businesses, for example. So Indians have come a long way from struggling community to the established community, and they are also increasingly going into the political sphere in many countries. And therefore, even though they are small, they are having more than their size, the influence. For example, in Canada now there is more than 3% of population is of Indian origin, which is huge because, and it has been definitely taken a new leap because of Prime Minister Modi's interaction with the diaspora, because they have become more visible. People have started taking note of it. And that is also a reason why the head of the country, of the host country, are attending Prime Minister's event, Modi's event, because they think that they are their audience, which can be potentially politically beneficial to them. So these are multiple factors why Indian diaspora is now being seen as a force to reckon with.
Okay.
Thank you, Dr. Chauthaiwale. Yes, Indian diaspora, Marya, today is influential, but I have a problem when we put a timeline of 50, 20 years to it. Because Indian diaspora goes back 100, 150 years now. If you talk of Mahatma Gandhi, or even Jawaharlal Nehru, or even M.N. Roy, or even in Indonesia, or in Kenya, or Zimbabwe, South Africa, almost 100 years Indian diaspora has been very influential. Today we may have more CEOs, but in terms of anti-imperialism, in terms of having the political impact globally, Indian diaspora has a very, it has had a presence which was far beyond the strength of India as a nation.
Okay.
And that diaspora today has expanded to professionals. That diaspora today has expanded to academicians. That diaspora today has expanded to labor. We have huge labor class in several countries. So as Vijayji said, that it's not a homogeneous group, but I would just underline one thing, that it's a legacy of past more than a century, and which world has been acknowledging. Yes, today packaging under Dr. Vijay has been remarkable. Nobody can question that. But the presence and the influence has always been there.
Okay, and I would really appreciate if there are no noises which are happening in this room while two people are conversing. We should extend that courtesy to the panelists who are on the dais. So let's have some decorum in this room. And I'll be opening the floor to the questions. So be prepared to ask questions as well towards the end. The question also is then, Vijay Bhai, that, and this has been written in Sanjay Baru's latest book, that high worth Indians are leaving India. Even as we talk about several Indians returning home, there is also a high percentage of Indians who feel that the narrative here in India is too polarizing and too divisive, and they do not want their children to be part of it, and hence they are choosing to become NRIs. The question is that this same diaspora which is leaving India, and Indians who are now going to be part of the India story abroad, how do you ensure that they have that sentiment of that they feel connected to India even as they are not contributing to the India growth story?
See, I have not read the book, even though I have heard about it. See, if someone is moving to US, for example, because India is too polarized, then today's US may be more polarized than today's India. So there are various reasons why people are moving out of India, mostly for the financial reasons, tax structure, uh, prosperity, and also business opportunities. So there can be, I feel that this actually is adding to the strength of India, because they take all their skills, acumen, even virtues, values to that country. Otherwise, you tell me how a big Hindu temple could have been built in Abu Dhabi without. So these are kind of a tacit uh, achievements of Indian community that is sometimes not documented in such a data heavy book. I heard that that book is very data heavy. Similarly, there is no data of how many people have come back to India because of, again, various reasons. So my feeling is that it is a net gain that in such a global society, as many people, highly qualified people, they go outside, settle there, and keep their quote unquote Indianness in heart. Few years ago, I was to give a talk on TEDx. So I did a small survey of NRIs, second generation NRI, or those who have shifted in, in their early childhood. So they are as good as a second generation. Mostly from US and some UK. Around 300 youngsters below 25 actually participated in those. I am not saying that it is a representative survey because they mostly in our circle only. So I asked them very some simple question that what you think about India? Are you shy of your Indian identity? And most of the people say they know. The students, they say no. They are actually very comfortable with their Indian identity. I asked them what is their connect with India. So they are saying that our connect is with our grandparents. So these are very unique Indianness, which I find. I asked them if given a choice, they will marry with a person of Indian origin. And majority of them, they said yes. I also asked them, given an opportunity to be in India and do some good job for 3 to 5 years, will you be interested? Majority of them, they say yes, they will be positive about this. And they are all below 25. So these are so I think this is our strength. Now we have come out from that brain drain phenomena, is that brains are now universal. Their physical presence doesn't matter. As long as they remain connected with India, it is our asset.
Okay. Mr. Sappal, we often hear the criticism which comes from the right is that every time Rahul Gandhi travels abroad, he uses the platform outside India to criticize India. Well, one may say that he's the leader of opposition. He is going to use whatever platform to question the government. But the other view, which is essentially what the government pushes for, is that why should he criticize India outside India? Questioning his nationalistic identity.
I'll answer to this, but before that I would also like to react to this,
Please.
the earlier question. Well, we all know when a country grows, and if you grow to a stature of a global power, there will be a global presence. Our people will move out, our people will make a mark in the international fora that is expected out of any country which grows as a global power. But beyond that, there are 2-3 things that I would like to highlight. Like, if you see after 47, there has been a continuous coming back of top people, be it Homi Bhabha, be it C.N.R. Rao, be it people like Mashelkar. be it people like Sam Pitroda, right up to Raghuram Rajan or Urjit Patel, people who believed in the dream of the leaders of this country, from Nehru to Dr. Manmohan Singh, and they came back. They were among the people who were at the top of the world in their own domain areas, be it science, be it technology, be it economy. What is the brain reverse, what we call reverse migration in last few years? Because somehow people who are at the top are not comfortable with the idea which has been propagated in last 10 years. And I'm saying it with all humility. So that is one difference which has come, that earlier leaders were coming back, which is not happening now. Second thing, when the professionals go, it's an encouraging thing. But when the companies go out, and they have their management shifted from India, that's a worrying thing. When we are critical of this phenomena, it is because as a powerful nation, we expect Indians to have their base in India, either as a company or as an individual, and be a global citizen. Somewhere that idea is suffering in last few years. And there's a third angle, that a large number of Indians are going as labor. They are subjected to conditions which are not acceptable, be it in Italy, be it in other countries, Middle East, and that is not on our agenda now. Right now, what we see, diaspora is the part of the packaged diaspora, which is being projected. But there is more diaspora than that projection. So,
okay, what is this packaged diaspora you've used?
well, we have a champion here, and I have complimented him in person also, that he has packaged it well for his party. But diaspora is beyond that packaging. There are issues in diaspora, which as a powerful nation we should have been addressing. And on that, I don't say there's no effort, but on that we have been lacking in last few years. As far as Rahul Gandhi going out and criticizing, well, in a democracy, when you put a point of view, you don't always call it criticism. When Mr. Modi went out and said many things which are unsavory about India, it was not termed as criticism of India. That was termed as his views. In a democracy, it's a global world. When our diaspora is having such an important impact there, is it not fair? And it is not just from these few years. Again, I'll go back, more than 100 years, this has been happening. These are institutions like Cambridge or Oxford, where he went and gave his peace, are the institutions which have nurtured democracy, which value freedom of expression. And we are not an insecure nation. When Mr. Modi went out and spoke those words, and I'm not quoting instances because I don't want it to become a TV debate, it was never criticized in the manner in which BJP criticizes Rahul Gandhi. I think as a leader of opposition and the leader of one of the biggest party in the world, one of the biggest parties in the world, he has all the right to put forward his view, not just to Indian diaspora, but also to global community. That is an accepted thing. If Prime Minister Modi can go and address a rally in Houston, in the US election, why can't leader of opposition from India go and express his views? This is not criticism. Views are not always criticism. That's a very fine distinction in democracy that you have to make. It's in a dictatorship where every contradictory view is considered criticism or anti-national. That's a dictatorial view. That's not a democratic view.
Okay. Let's open the floor for questions, and the mic can be moved around. Please, yes, go ahead. Please tell us your name, and then the question is addressed to whom?
My name is Dungar Ram. I study international relations, and my question is to both the panelists. As sir started with telling that diaspora is not one group, there are different type of diaspora across the world. And we are seeing the polarization in the Western countries where people are not very comfortable when they are not getting the jobs, and Indians being smart enough getting the jobs. And also we are seeing that there is a reverse brain drain, that people are coming back to India, but at the same time, the schemes like Golden Visa is there. When the people with a lot of money can go and be part of those countries. So are we seeing that, rich are leaving, or or the middle class coming back, or are we seeing that, out of India in the host countries, we are seeing two kind of Indian groups, the haves and have-nots, or bigger groups and the smaller groups? Thank you.
In a way, you are correct that there is a lot of disparity, economic disparity within diaspora in every part of the world. Less maybe in US or maybe Canada, I don't know, but definitely more in, even in UK you will find a wide spectrum. Gulf definitely there is there. So this economic disparity is there. But by and large, Indians are seen to be a law-abiding residents. The crime rate amongst Indian is one of the least, sometimes even the less than the national average. They are also, they contribute to the local economy, because many of the small shop owners also, they recruit the local people in many cases, or even the mom and pop, what they call it as a restaurant, small restaurants. So all these create a very good impression about India largely. And even in Gulf, why Gulf countries are accepting Indians in such a large number is also the same reason, that there is a kind of a comfort with Indian diaspora, and that is definitely helping not only the image of diaspora but also image of India as a country.
I agree with it that Indian diaspora has created a space for itself. They are considered to be good professionals. They are considered to be hardworking. There has to be a reason that even in cities like Brussels or in Barcelona or even in African cities, majority of the shop owners are now Indians. The majority of the doctors are now Indians. Even the CAs, the management people are Indians. Even in the service sector, now there are a large number of Indians. And that is because as a community, India, and I'll also add China to this, because they are both aspirational. When people from our families go out, and it's common for most of us, they go out with a dream to make good, and they work hard for it. And that is why that has earned a certain respect to them. What is happening now, that this question of reverse brain drain, I think is an over-exaggerated idea. Reverse brain drain is nothing today, but a large number of Indian students going out, and few years back, I think the government gave out the data that some $20 billion are being sent out as fee. I don't know the exact figure today, but that's the range that we are talking about. They go, they study abroad because there's a decreasing confidence in the higher education in India in last few years. And they go out, and after getting education, they are coming back because there's not enough employment there. So that is not reverse brain drain. Reverse brain drain is when you are settled there, you have a good job, and you have a better opportunity in India, and you come back. That's not happening. That is something which is worrying, and that should be worrying for our party, that should be worrying for BJP. Because as a nation, we are sending out huge amount of money on education, and we are getting unemployed youth back into India. So that is second thing. And third thing is, in past few years, and we have seen this in Leicestershire, we have seen it in New Zealand, we have seen this in Australia and some other places, in Canada, where various groups, and I'm not talking of one religious group, I should make it clear, various groups are now being confrontationist, they are being aggressive, and that is disturbing the harmony that Indian diaspora has been living with the local population, and that is the second area where we should be concerned as a nation, because diaspora is something that we should aspire for. We should not be worried about our presence globally, but we should be able to mingle with them. We should be able to come back if there are better opportunities, and we should have harmony. And some these disturbing trends have been witnessed in past few years.
Okay, another set of questions, please, and then we'll wrap it up.
Hello.
Yes, please, go ahead.
दीपेंद्र सिंह दिस साइड मेरा सर क्वेश्चन था पहले बीजेपी स्पोक पर्सन से, इंडियंस के अगेंस्ट रेसिज्म बढ़ रहा था, यूएस के अंदर, तो इसमें मेनली फैक्टर यही देखा जाता है कि जॉब्स की वजह से बढ़ रहा है। बट ये भी तो हो सकता है कि एक देश का प्राइम मिनिस्टर जाके दूसरे देश में पॉलिटिकल एजेंट के रूप में काम कर रहा है, वो इलेक्शन में अगर प्रचार कर रहे हैं ट्रम्प के लिए, तो उससे भी बढ़ रहा हो, क्योंकि जॉब्स तो पहले भी इंडियंस के पास काफ़ी ज़्यादा थी यूएस के अंदर। एंड सेकंड क्वेश्चन था कांग्रेस के लिए कि राहुल गांधी पार्लियामेंट के सेशन के जस्ट आफ्टर यूएस जाते हैं और वहाँ पे जाके वो कुछ ऐसे बयान देते हैं जो इंडिया के अगेंस्ट थे, जबकि अगर वो पार्लियामेंट में लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन है, उन्होंने इतना कुछ नहीं बोला था, गौरव गोगोई ने सारा काम देखा था पार्लियामेंट का, तो उनको पार्लियामेंट में बोलना चाहिए था। वो पार्लियामेंट के बाहर जाते हैं, पार्लियामेंट के जस्ट आफ्टर वो यूएस जाते हैं, वहाँ पे जाके वो बयान देते हैं, तो वो पार्लियामेंट में भी दे सकते थे, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पोस्ट पे थे, इससे पहले वो दे रहे थे पर वो किसी भी संवैधानिक पोस्ट पे नहीं थे, पर अभी वो एक लीडर ऑफ अपोजिशन है तो उनको बोलना चाहिए था पार्लियामेंट में, वो बाहर जाके बोले उस पर।
See, first of all, Prime Minister Modi must have addressed close to 50 diaspora events outside India. I myself have attended close to 35. And one of such event might have been coincided with the local elections. But if you see the pattern, it is because the Howdy Modi which you are talking about with Mr. Trump also took place after the victory of 2019 India elections. So main reason was to go there to as a repeat Prime Minister of India rather than what happens in US elections. And many other places he has gone at various period of time. So it is a mere coincidence. But most important part of this is that why the sitting Prime Minister of head of that country feels the necessity to come and join the dais with Indian Prime Minister, which is very unheard of. And it may be in Canada, it may be in US, it may be in UK, Australia. Even Mr. Netanyahu came to share dais with Indian Prime Minister. So it shows that it is the stature of India that has grown in last 10 years. Second part is definitely they have a political intention because they think that these people, many of them, can be my potential voters. Third, which is most important, which political leader in that country has a capacity to gather a crowd of 20, 30, 40,000 people. Their political rallies are also with few hundred people. So they get a free audience without paying anything. So it's definitely a political narrative is also there. So Prime Minister Modi has an enormous ability to attract people of Indian origin. The people, the leaders of that country also think that these are my potential voters, many of them. So they are definitely the residents of that country. For example, in Australia, in Israel, during Prime Minister Modi's event, the local government came to know that there are close to 70, 80,000 Indian Jews staying in Israel. It was fact which was mostly less known there. So this is a new emergence of diaspora, not only as a numerical strength, but also as a political strength. And this dimension is definitely there.
Yeah, the second question that you asked. Yeah, first of all, this criticism of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, that he goes abroad and speaks in a certain way, did not begin after he joined a constitutional post, after he became leader of opposition. This BJP has been carrying out this criticism ever since that he has been going abroad. Now, the world did not begin yesterday. Do we say that BJP leaders never visited the countries abroad and never talked about Indian government? Mr. Modi was deputed by RSS in US, which is a fact. He was building RSS in US. He was talking to Indian diaspora at that time in US. Was he praising the then Narasimha Rao government? What was he doing in RSS in those meetings? Was Mr. Modi in those meetings praising Mr. Narasimha Rao government and saying that Indian government is very good and join RSS now and support Indian government? I think some things we are seeing from the prism that BJP has successfully placed between the public and what is happening. If we remove that prism, all the leaders of all political parties, did George Fernandez not travel to various countries and talked about India? Did Chandrasekhar not travel? You talk of various people. Today, yes, there's social media. Yes, we have a bigger diaspora. Yes, the voices are stronger. The mediums of amplifying those voices are stronger. That's a technical and a development and a reality which has come about Indian diaspora. But Indian leaders ever since, including Mr. Modi, have been traveling abroad, have been discussing Indian government. What has changed is, earlier when anybody criticized the government, it was the criticism of the government. Now what they have tried to say is that criticizing Modi is criticizing India. That is a distinction. Criticizing Modi is not criticizing India. So when Rahul Gandhi goes abroad, he discusses about Indian government, which every other political party, including BJP, has been doing when they were in opposition. This is nothing new about it. Second thing, now the system which RSS has created globally, there's no media coverage of Indian issues. It is from the angle of Government of India. There's no alternative view going abroad to the governments there. There are no think tanks who are able to impartially work on these issues. So it has to be the major political parties like Congress Party and big leaders to put across that view in the global society. There's nothing wrong in this. And last bit that you said, that he went straight after the session. Now there are 3 sessions in a year. So any visit has to be either before a session or after a session. That's a simple technical thing. Na? Has Rahul Gandhi been missing away from sessions? Has he not raised issues in every session? Has he not spoken in every session? He has. So from where this criticism is coming, that he went after a session, once the session finishes, only then a leader can travel. It's a simple fact of life.
Okay. Vijay bhai, the point that was being made and the question that was asked, I'll just take that thought a little ahead. Diplomacy is about continuity. Irrespective of whichever government is in power, the government which follows will be continuing with the same diplomatic equations and relationship with that country. If you're giving your platform to a political leader of that country, are you not becoming a participant and actually jeopardizing diplomatic equations?
No, because the people who are sharing dais with Prime Minister Modi, they are not being invited because they belong to a particular political party, but because they are head of the government or head of the state. So only the Prime Minister or President of the country have shared the dais. Second, even though the second leader of that country has been sharing the dais, in the audience, we ensure that there are political leadership of both the parties. For example, if you see, for example, the very first Madison Square Garden event where more than 25, 30 congressmen they came, they were almost half of from both Democrats and Republicans, even in Howdy Modi. So let us be clear about it that this event is not to interfere in the local politics. We try to bring as many legislators, senators, congressmen, member of parliaments from all the political parties as possible. And mostly those, because our diaspora is also not homogeneous for the political party. For example, you will see Indians both in Republicans and Democrats or Labour or Conservatives in UK. And they have also their interest that their representative comes and attends the rally. So most of the audience, American audience or British audience, they belong to both the parties. And it's not that we are propagating or supporting only one party or other.
All right, Vijay Chauthaiwale and Gurdeep Sappal, really appreciate your time. Thank you so much.